Hey everyone, Scott here with another Fusion World Replay video for you. This time we're against Goku Black again, but we're playing as Ginyu rather than the U7 Goku we were in the last video. When I kind of queued it into this game, seeing that it's Goku Black that I'm playing against, the kind of game plan on my end is just, can I aggro them down before they can kind of take over the game with the big 6-drop Goku Black? And this seemed like a pretty good opening hand for us to be able to try and do that. We got 3 of these Raikums, which are just so good. 2 bodies on the board for 3 energy, and they're self-awakeners. We also have another self-awakening Frieza here, so not going to have any issues getting down to 4 life in this game. In terms of these opening turns, pretty straightforward on both sides. Just drawing some cards for my opponent, and it's just me starting to put the pressure on with the 1-cost Jace. This guy is so good as well. The fact that he only costs 1, and then once you have a few Ginyus out, he can attack even into a Awakened leader. It's just so good. There's the consideration to play the Ginyu Frog instead to draw a card, but especially with this being a crit leader, I do kind of want to push them to the point where they self-awaken kind of early as possible, just to get that 20k crit pressure off the board. Also, there's the consideration, since they did go into the turn 1 Trunks, if I play the Ginyu Frog and switch to rest mode to draw the card, they can just pretty much clear it for free with their 1-cost, and I just don't really like that in terms of like value. It seems like they're getting a lot more out of that exchange than I am. So yeah, go ahead here. Our opponent decides to play 2 1-costs rather than going into the 2-cost Goten. So that's maybe a sign that they weren't too worried about trying to awaken or take their own life so that they awaken. I guess seeing that they're against quite an aggressive deck in Ginyu, they're probably relying on us to get them down to their 4 life. Go ahead here and take the life when we attack with the Frieza. I just want to get as many cards in my hand as I can early as I can, so I can find the good Ginyus, try and find the 2-cost, the one that got crit off the life earlier. That's so good to play with Raikum. Go ahead, our opponent does finally take the hit down to 4 life. And they go ahead and awaken straight away is the first thing they do this turn, which is a good sign for me. I don't really like facing down these crit leaders, especially like here where I'm not awakened yet. I would feel kind of obliged to take the hit rather than combo out of it. Maybe there's the consideration that if they had swung at my leader here before awakening, just to do the 20k crit, that I might have comboed out of it with having the self-awakener on board and 2 Raikums in hand that can also take a life. I probably would have used one of the Ginyu Frogs to get out of it. As it stands, the fact that they're trying to clear my self-awakener here is maybe a sign that they're trying to stop me from getting to the point that I can awaken and have access to the activate main on the leader's backside. And considering that this is a pretty good attacker at 20k, it can go into his leader still, and the fact that with this and a Raikum I can definitely awaken next turn is why I'm going to go ahead and defend this Frieza best as I can this turn. Our opponent does have this pretty good answer to our Jaces in the 1-cost Zamasu, the one that can bottom deck a 1-cost card. It's getting basically a 20k body off the board. Is really good for him for 1 energy, considering they run pretty much every list I've seen runs 4 copies of this, so for a card that they have to include anyway to set us back this much, and getting one of our Ginyu Force off the board is pretty good for them. And it goes again to the bottom of the deck where we're unlikely to see it again this game. And they go ahead and they only combo up to 20k. If they really were worried about getting rid of the freezer here, the 2-cost freezer, I think they probably should have used the pan as well. Just to go up to 30k, that would have forced at least 2 cards out of my hand in order to save it. But in the end, I'm able to just use another one, the 1-cost Ginyus. Again, I don't think it's a good matchup for playing that 1-cost. They've got so many of their own 1-cost that they could just quite easily attack into it with. So yeah, like I said before, with this and the Raccoon, we're definitely going to be able to get down to 4 life this turn. And now that my opponent's awakened, they are comboing on their attacks. I do switch the 1-cost Zamasu to rest mode, because I am obviously paying attention to the fact that next turn they're going to have 4 energy, which means they could bottom deck this in order to go into one of the 6-cost Goku Blacks, which is the card that I'm like most worried about in this matchup. Obviously it's a big 40k body, it gets some card from the draw, lets him play something 4-cost, which is usually going to be 30k, so that's something I don't necessarily want to be facing down next turn. So that's why I go ahead and switch this guy to rest mode, with the consideration that I'm probably going to attack into it later in the turn if I can, rather than switching the pan to rest mode, which now that it's on the board is only really combo power for my opponent. Go ahead, get super lucky here with the Raccoon in that we find the 2-cost Ginyu that we want to get. Lets us get 2 energy, and our opponent, our leader awakening gets us another one. So basically we're all the way back up to 4 energy now, despite paying 3 to play the Raccoon to start the turn. Also gets us to 20k bodies on the board, which is one of the benefits of Ginyu. You're able to get a lot of 20k bodies on the board quite easily. The issue is it's quite hard to push past 20k. So just considering how big their hand is at this point, I'm not going to try and combo on any of these attacks. I've still got the 3 energy to use for the turn. So there's the consideration that I might end up playing both of these Jaces, or maybe another Raccoon Jace. So I want to keep them in hand for that rather than comboing them on these 20k attacks. And here we see I do go ahead and attack into the Zamasu here. 20k into 5. It's very unlikely that they're going to be incentivized to save this, although considering they had 2 super combos in hand, it might not have been the worst choice. But then again, considering I did still have the 4 energy showing, it's pretty likely I have more 20k bodies that are going to hit the board. So it was pretty safe bet on their side that I was going to be able to get rid of that 1-cost of Masters. So in the end, it probably was the right choice for them not to super combo up to try and save it. Just means these 20k bodies are all going to go into their leader instead, which they're going to have an easier time defending. Having said that, they don't have too many good targets for them to combo from their hand at the moment. Maybe the Goasu, but they want to kind of save the 1-cost Zamasus so that they can go into the big Goku Blacks next turn. So go ahead here and see our opponent just drawing more cards and getting 1-cost Zamasu on board, so that it can set them up for their leader's skilled next turn. And really, they do not put too much pressure on my board immediately this turn, whereas they could have potentially played something like the Vegeta here and started attacking into my 20k to kind of clear them. Instead, they've just kind of got a lot of combo power to kind of defend themselves, and obviously they've got cards in hand. off of each of these guys, but I don't know. I think against Ginyu, you do want to try and clear their board any chance you can get, especially when I'm threatening to use this leader skill next turn. Each Ginyu that they kind of leave on the board until next turn, that's representing 2 attacks rather than just 1. We'll see here they even attack into the freezer, which I don't think is correct considering this is the 1 card on my board that won't go back to active with my leader skill. And they didn't even attack into anything with the 2-cost Goten. They could have gone into Force Guys and comboed off one of these 1-drops. Yeah, I'm not too sure what their thinking was here, but now at this point I'm just going to try to pressure them as much as I can. I'll go ahead and swing with everyone first before I decide if I'm going to commit to using the leader skill this turn or not. And with how much combo power they kind of had on the board, it was pretty clear that they were going to be able to get out of most of these swings. They go ahead and use a Gotenks from hand, which is maybe an interesting choice considering how the game panned out in the end. That might have been a good card for them to try and play off the big Goku Black. I would have drawn them 2 cards. Our opponent goes all the way down to 1 life here, considering they had cards in hand to kind of combo with. I'm not sure what their thinking was here. Obviously, they probably, considering I have 4 energy, I have the potential to restand all of these guys. They're probably considering that they're going to go down to 1 life, pretty much guaranteed this turn. Although, considering how many cards in hand they have, it's not guaranteed that I would have definitely been able to force them down this far. So maybe their thinking was get the cards in hand early and then make the kind of best decisions from there in terms of how to defend yourself. You know how many super combos you kind of have. You know how much, how many 5Ks, how many 10Ks, and then you can kind of make your decisions there about the best way to defend yourself. So there's maybe some merit to just taking those hits there, even though they weren't strictly necessary. I go ahead and play Jace here, considering that they're still, well, once I go ahead and use that, I'm committing to not using the leader skill this turn. I think originally when I played it, I was considering just swinging with this once and then using the leader skill to get like 5 more attacks this turn. That might have been the better play in the end, but considering the fact that they had taken these 2 hits pretty much straight away off the other Ginyu forces I'd attacked with earlier in the turn, this kind of signaled to me, and it ended up being a wrong signal in the end. So maybe that was good play on their part. It made me think that maybe they don't have enough in hand to get out of a 1 big swing. We'll see here, while they've got 3 super combos in hand, they can very easily get out of this. I do go ahead and drop a Guldo onto it as well. My thinking being, if it's 70k, then they definitely would have to use have to have 3 super combos in hand to get out of it just with super combos. In the end, that's not the decision they made. They used 2 super combos and a few other cards. They go all the way up to 75. But now I can just go ahead and drop a 20k Ginyu and look top 5 for a Ginyu force. And then I do fully commit on this Ginyu swing. Again, the fact that they didn't use the the 3rd super combo on the last attack kind of, again, signaled to me that maybe they don't have a lot of combo power in hand, or they don't have another super combo, which is why I kind of committed here. In the end, they were able to get out of this. They did have that other super combo, and so they're able to get all the way up to 60k. What I was saying before here about the Go tanks, if they'd held on to the one earlier, that's a pretty good card for them to play off of the Goku Black here, because obviously they have 7 or less cards in hand now, so it's going to be able to grab them 2 cards back from the drop. In the end, the way they do this, I think might have been a mistake on their part. So obviously you want to attack with the 1-drop Zamasu here, if you can, and go into my leaders. So they've comboed off this Gotenks. They know they're going to be able to grab it back with the Goku Black leader, although they don't end the Goku Black battle card even. They actually don't end up doing that, which I think would have been the better play for them here. So them comboing it isn't necessarily that bad, considering they know they can get it back guaranteed. But the fact that they don't choose it ends up being an issue for them, because you consider the cards that they can get back from the drop. The Gotenks, yes, it's smaller than something like the Vegeta or the Goku Black, but this is just 2 extra cards in hand. You could quite easily get this Trunks with 10k combo power and this Goten with 10k combo power. So that's maybe the thing they should have done. But we'll go ahead and we'll see what they actually end up doing with the 6-drop Goku Black this turn. So obviously no cards in hand. They go up to 20k. There's nothing we can do to get out of this attack, so we have to take the hit there. We get lucky in the sense that we get a card with combo power. This had been one of our extra cards. We would have been pretty screwed here, because basically at this point, sitting here on the 3 life, we know they're going to be able to swing with their leader. They're going to be able to swing with the big Goku Black, because it's pretty clear that that's what they've been signaling as having in hand. So that's 2 attacks there, and the 4-drop that they play off the Goku Black is a 3rd attack. So we know we're facing 3 more attacks this turn. The way they do it here, they swing with their leader, which lets us combo out of this attack with the Guldo that we got off of the 1st attack of the turn. And at this point, we kind of have to combo out of this attack. We know the big Goku Black is 40k. The cards they potentially can get, the full cost, are at least 25k. Maybe if they got the Gotenks and didn't combo on it, we could try and hold the Guldo, but they would have just 2 extra cards in hand to combo with. So really this is the attack that we had the best chance of getting out of, which is why this is the one we kind of need to combo out of. Really, if we do take this hit, we're kind of praying to get a super combo to maybe get us enough to get out of the Goku Black attack, or the attack of the card that the Goku Black plays. And at that point, you're taking a big risk on what this 3rd from last card in your life is going to be. So what I do is I go ahead, combo out of this one now. And this ends up being, I think, the decisive choice of the game in the end. We'll see here they do go into the 6-drop as we're expecting. They go ahead, they grab the Vegeta from drop. We see they have to obviously swing in order to play the Vegeta. And here we do get an extra card that we're not able to use, because obviously we're completely tapped out. So pretty much the only thing we could have kind of got off our life here that would have saved us from this crit attack is a super combo. Yeah, so no chance, we gotta let that go. But now with only 1 card in hand and 1 energy up, very unlikely that they're going to be able to KO us from here. In fact, I think it's might be mathematically impossible. Like, the biggest 1-drop they play is the 15k guy, which if this had been that card, they would have had no combo power in hand, so they literally cannot kill us from here now that we comboed out of the leader attack. They go ahead, they draw the card with the Trunks, and they go ahead and combo it just to show they've got nothing in hand. And so they don't end up conceding this game. and I decided not to drag it out, so I just skipped the combo step and attack with whatever card's closest, just not to try and drag this out. I know I've got them dead on board. So yeah, that's it for this replay video. Go ahead and let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. You can also like the video and subscribe to the channel. They both really help me out. And be sure to check back for more gameplay replay videos.